Who is a social worker and what do they do? The social worker that we interviewed is Rebecca Ray, who works at Victim Services located in the Government Center in Rochester, Minnesota. Becky has a bachelor's degree in social work from Winona State University. She first volunteered, then continued with an internship at Victim Services before getting hired after graduation, and now has worked there for the past 7 years. Some of her responsibility as an employee of Victim Services are to help victims who are involved in crimes such as rape, incest, sexual abuse, and help them deal with sexual assault itself during the exam, which can be done up to 72 hours after the assault. They also help by informing them of their rights and about going through the legal process. They can get them an interpreter if needed, help them filing a restraining order, and refer them to counseling. Victim Services is also trying to bring awareness to sexual violence and help with prevention by educating people of all ages. Becky is also involved in co-facilitating a sexual assault support group, which brings together the victims to offer support each other, share stories, and help each other with the healing process. Education is important, and all advocates are encouraged to seek continuing education. To keep her license current, Becky must complete 44 hours of education every 2 years.
In 1983, Minnesota passed a Minnesota Crime Victims Bill of Rights that provides a victim with rights. There are 4 basic rights that it's broken down into. The first right is to be notified. The second right is to be able to participate in the prosecution. The third right is protection from harm. And the fourth right is to apply for financial assistance. Some of the rights that are included in the 4 basic rights would be if there's anything changing in the plea agreements, the victim will be notified. Changes in court schedules, dates, times, place of sentencing, and a release for when the offender will be released from prison. Another part is with the part of prosecution, which means they have the right to inform the court of the impact the crime has affected them with. They have right to input a pretrial information to the pretrial. They have a right to written objections to plea agreements prior to the sentencing, and they have right to a speedy trial. They also have a right to bring anybody they'd like to the hearing, and a right to attend all sentencing. The right that has to go with the protection from harm is such as tampering with the witness. There's a law that protects them against that. They don't have to give their address to the courts. They will be kept in a secure area during court, and employers may not dismiss or discipline the victim or witnesses if they are called to testify. The next part is for the financial assistance, and for that they are able to request help in ordering a defendant to help get payment for that, and also if they lose much of their income for an economic loss, they are able to get financial assistance through the government also during this time.
There are 5 different sexual assault program services. There's a 24-hour crisis line, advocacy services, support counseling, community education, and RAIN.org. The 24-hour crisis line is staffed by people who are trained to listen, offer information, make referrals to other cooperating emergency agencies. They are available to anyone 24/7, and their phone number in Rochester, Minnesota here is 289-0636. Advocacy services, they assist survivors of sexual abuse or assault at hospitals or law enforcement centers. They also accompany survivors and family through the criminal justice system process. Support counseling can be either short-term individual counseling or group support that's available confidentially to survivors, where they can explore, discuss, and understand the impact of the assault. Community education just pretty much increases the awareness of sexual abuse or assault by trained staff and volunteers at schools. RAIN.org is short for Rape, Abuse, Incest National Network, and RAIN.org says that victims is a site where victims can get help and volunteers can also get continuing education.
There are many known facts about sexual assaults. A few of them I'm going to name are that as many as 1 in 3 females and 1 in 6 to 8 males will be sexually assaulted during their lifetime. 85% or more of these sexual assaults involves alcohol. The victim is in no way responsible for the assault, no matter if they put themselves in the situation or not. Most assaults are committed in the victim's home, and more than 85% of them are by people that they know. Sexual assault is not an impulsive, uncontrollable act. Most assaults are deliberately planned by the offender. College women are 4 times more likely than everyday women to be sexually assaulted. About every 2 minutes, someone in the United States is sexually assaulted, and only 6% of those rapists will ever spend a day in jail. And then one more fact is that 1 in 4 girls are sexually assaulted before the age of 18.
There are many different ways that a child can be sexually abused. Here are following examples of some scenarios. Denise was 11 and her breasts were beginning to grow. Her uncle started accidentally touching her breast every chance he got. Later on, he would go into her bedroom and reach under the sheets and touch her breasts. Denise pretended to sleep. Hector was 10 and loved playing soccer. His coach gave him a lot of attention and would give him rides after practice. The coach told Hector that there was a special game that they could play. The game was fun except for the part where the coach had Hector hold and touch his penis. Hector wanted to stop, but the coach said if he did, then he wouldn't get to play soccer anymore. Jenny was 7. She liked her mother's boyfriend because he always wanted to dance with him. But he would kiss her and rub his body up against hers and reach under her dress when her mom was away. He said it was their special secret. Tyrone was 14. A 25-year-old friend of his sister's wanted to take Tyrone's picture. Tyrone thought it would be fun because it was a hot day. The photographer asked Tyrone to take off his shirt. Then she said Tyrone to take off his pants, like he was in an underwear commercial. When she told Tyrone to take off his underwear, he said no, but she told him that if he didn't, she would show everyone the pictures of him in his underwear. Sarah was 11, and her stepfather was sexually abusing her. He said that Sarah's mom didn't love him, so he wanted Sarah to be his girlfriend. The abuse got worse the last few months, but Sarah was too afraid to tell. Her stepfather and her mother would be hurt if Sarah told anyone. When her stepfather had sex with her, Sarah felt like she wanted to die. Some of these stories may have been hard to hear, but it happens every day and we need to bring some awareness. Now that we have talked about facts and given some scenarios, here are a few safety tips. Always lock your door. Do not walk alone. Know your sexual intentions and limits. Communicate verbally about your limits. Listen to your gut. Attend social events with friends. Only drink from unopened containers or drinks you poured. Never leave your drink unattended. Avoid group drinks like punch bowls. Be aware of your surroundings. Avoid excessive use of alcohol and drugs. Carry a whistle or mace with you. Never walk alone while it's dark. Always walk briskly and look alert and confident, and avoid carrying objects in both arms. Stay away from isolated areas always. Take self-defense classes. Call before you leave or drive anywhere so someone is expecting you. Encourage group activities in early stages of a relationship and teach children about safety and inappropriate touching. There are some important things for you to remember if you are sexually assaulted. It's your body and no one has the right to touch you. You can say no. Abuse is never your fault, even if you don't say no. Abuse always hurts. It can hurt your feelings or your body. Keep telling someone until they listen. Even if it's the first person you tell doesn't help you, someone will. Telling the right person is always a way to make abuse stop. What happens next is not your fault. When you tell someone about sexual abuse, the abuser will probably have to get help.